In February 2008, Microsoft offered to buy Yahoo for $44.6 billion. That is not a typo. $44 billion. A 62% premium over Yahoo's stock price. One of the largest acquisition offers in the history of the Internet. Yahoo's CEO, Jerry Yang, said no. 18 months later, Yahoo's market value had fallen to around $15 billion. The Microsoft offer was gone. Yahoo's best moment had come and gone, and Yang had closed the door on it himself. But here is what makes this story more than just a bad decision. Yahoo didn't make one bad decision. They made the same bad decision over and over again, across a decade, with different people in the room. They could have bought Google in 1998 for $1 million. They passed. They could have bought Google again in 2002 for $5 billion. They passed. They bought Tumblr in 2013 for $1.1 billion. They sold it 6 years later for $3 million. Yahoo was given the right answer repeatedly by the market. They said no every time. And by the time they had no choices left, they sold the whole company for $4.8 billion, $11 billion less than what Microsoft had offered a decade earlier. This is the story of how the Internet's first great empire chose itself to death. Before Google, before Facebook, before any of it. There was Yahoo. Jerry Yang and David Fillo built the original Yahoo in 1994 as Stanford graduate students. It started as a hand-curated directory of websites, a list of links organized by category. In the early web, when search didn't exist yet, that list was everything. It was how you found anything. Yahoo went public in 1996. By 1999, it was the most visited site on the Internet. Yahoo Mail had more users than any email service on Earth. Yahoo Finance was where people checked their stocks. Yahoo Sports, Yahoo News, Yahoo Messenger. For millions of people, Yahoo wasn't just a website. It was the Internet. At its peak in 2000, Yahoo was worth $125 billion. They were the Internet company, not a search engine, not a social network, a portal, a front door to everything. And in the early web, controlling the front door meant controlling the web. The model that built them, though, was the model that would eventually doom them. Yahoo thought of itself as a media company. It made money from advertising on its pages. It needed people to stay on Yahoo, to browse Yahoo, to read Yahoo content, to never leave. And that instinct, keep people here, don't send them away, would eventually make them unable to compete with a company whose entire model was the opposite. Find what you want and leave as fast as possible. In 1998, two Stanford PhD students named Larry Page and Sergey Brin had built a search engine they called Google. It was better than anything else available. They knew it. They also knew they wanted to finish their degrees, so they went looking for someone to buy it. They approached Yahoo. They offered to sell Google for $1 million. Yahoo passed. Their reasoning: Yahoo didn't want to be a search engine. Search sent people away from Yahoo. Yahoo's business depended on people staying. The better the search, the faster people left. Google launched publicly in 1998. Within 2 years, it was the most popular search engine on Earth. Within 4 years, it was threatening Yahoo's core business. In 2002, Yahoo's executives recognized the threat and opened acquisition talks with Google. But by then, Google was growing so fast that they asked for $5 billion. Yahoo countered with $3 billion. Google declined. 1 year later, Google went public at a valuation of $23 billion. Within a decade, it was worth hundreds of billions. Yahoo had been offered the answer twice. The first time it cost $1 million. The second time, $5 billion. Instead, they spent the next decade trying to build what they had already been offered. Yahoo cycled through leaders the way other companies cycle through quarterly reports. Terry Semel, a Hollywood executive, ran Yahoo from 2001 to 2007. He tried to turn it into a media empire, acquiring content, building original programming, chasing television advertising dollars. It didn't work. Google ate their search business while Yahoo was busy trying to become a TV network. Then came Jerry Yang again, then Carol Bartz, then Scott Thompson, who was forced to resign after it was discovered he had falsified his college degree, then Ross Levinsohn, then Marissa Mayer. 6 CEOs in a decade. Mayer arrived in 2012 from Google with enormous expectations and a clear mandate: fix Yahoo. She spent aggressively. She bought Tumblr, the blogging platform, for $1.1 billion in 2013, promising to not screw it up. She bought dozens of smaller companies. She redesigned products. She generated headlines. Yahoo's revenue declined every year she was in charge. The Tumblr purchase alone erased more value than most companies ever create. When Verizon later sold Tumblr, they got $3 million for it. The same asset Yahoo had paid over $1 billion for. On February 1st, 2008, Microsoft made Yahoo an offer: $44.6 billion, cash and stock, a 62% premium, the kind of offer that boards are supposed to take seriously, evaluate carefully, and very often accept. Jerry Yang rejected it in 3 months. He said Yahoo was worth more. He wanted $62 to $67 per share. Microsoft had offered $31. Microsoft walked away. Yahoo shareholders were furious. Activist investors circled. The stock, which had briefly risen on the acquisition news, collapsed back through the floor. Yang was forced to resign by the end of the year. What followed was a slow, grinding dissolution. Yahoo sold its core internet business to Verizon in 2016 for $4.8 billion. The same business Microsoft had valued at $44 billion 8 years earlier. They retained their stake in Alibaba, a Chinese e-commerce company Yahoo had invested in back in 2005, in what turned out to be one of the greatest investments in internet history. That stake was eventually worth hundreds of billions. Yahoo's most valuable asset wasn't anything they built after 2005. It was a bet they made before the worst decade of their existence. Yahoo's story isn't about one catastrophic mistake. It's about a company that had exceptional taste in everyone else's ideas and no conviction in its own. They identified Google early and passed. They identified the value of Alibaba and got that one right. They identified Tumblr as a platform with reach and paid $1 billion for it, then watched it die inside their walls. The pattern is always the same: good instinct, poor execution, zero follow-through. 6 CEOs, dozens of acquisitions, billions in write-downs. What killed Yahoo wasn't competition. Google didn't beat Yahoo. Yahoo beat Yahoo. Every time a clear path appeared: buy the search engine, sell to Microsoft, focus on what works, someone in a conference room found a reason to wait, to reconsider, to ask for more. Indecision, sustained long enough, becomes its own kind of strategy. It's just a strategy for losing. The company that once called itself the internet's front door sold its nameplate to a phone carrier for $4.8 billion. Somewhere, Larry Page is still thinking about that $1 million offer.